Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channels and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes to continue hustling. This episode is brought to you by Excite Medical and the DRX 9000, Peach State Payments, Recover, Chiro HD, Softwave, Cool Blue BA, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Script AI, Chiro Moguls, The Chiro Speaking Company, Pure Chiro Notes, 5-Star Forge, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. You can benefit from our full list of sponsors by visiting the sponsor page at chirohustle.com/sponsors. Links in the description. Now, let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 685 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I'm your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Saleem Musallam. If you want to hear his story about how decompression is making an impact for the chiropractic profession, stay tuned for the full episode. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. Today I have Saleem Musallam on with me with the Excite Medical and DRX 9000 Decompression Unit. I just want to say thank you for sponsoring the Chiro Hustle podcast. This is a sponsorship edition of the show. It's episode 685. I'm very thankful to have contributors like you supporting the brand and joining forces with us. So thank you so much for being a part of the Chiro Hustle community.
Genuinely, thank you for giving me the opportunity and appreciate what you're doing for the profession.
Yeah, it's already working. I've already had a connection with a gal out in New Jersey. She's want me to come speak at one of their events. So the connections are already starting to work for us. So I appreciate that too. Before we jump into your story and chiropractic and talking business and talking marketing and all the things that we have on the plan today, I just want to let people know our big why. Why do we do what we do over here at Chiro Hustle? Well, first things first is freedom of speech. I think that's essential. Us as a brand, we know what it's like to be shadow banned. We know what it's like to be traffic throttled and censored. We'd never do that to you. So that's a really cool thing that we stand for over here at Chiro Hustle. Also, we believe in medical freedom and family health freedom. Those are things that if you need help with those topics and big discussions, find a chiropractor in your city and go and ask them to give you guidance to help make your family healthy. Philosophically speaking, we do believe in innate intelligence and universal intelligence. And we believe that when man or woman, the physical gets adjusted, it connects them to man or woman, the spiritual, and which makes educated intelligence, which makes people smarter. So having a healthy spine actually improves your quality of life. And as you being the owner of the DRX 9000, you know that by having a healthy spine, it changes people's lives and it saves people from surgery. Last thing is we do support BJ Palmer's Sacred Trust. We believe that if you need to learn more about chiropractic, go to the show notes and go and click on the Sacred Trust. You're going to learn more about chiropractic than you ever did before. I guarantee you. It's BJ Palmer's last written words. So with that, this is episode 685 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. Saleem, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Chiropractic business. I know that's a big topic, and I want to help chiropractors make their businesses better. That's a big reason why we do this also, is because people need resources. They need knowledge. They need assistance. They need help. They need guidance. How is your brand, Excite Medical, helping chiropractic business?
Well, that's something that I'm extremely proud of. The fact that our focus is primarily on our existing customers and helping them succeed. And then that's taken off like wildfire. We are blessed to be the world leader in our industry. But our clients, every 3 to 6 months, they constantly see some sort of a new tool to help them. A prime example of this is a marketing workshop that I began putting on 3 to 4 times a year. I got the next one coming up Friday, December 13th. And it's not just designed for DRX 9000 owners. It's designed for all chiropractors. So a lot of doctors, they attend events, they see ads, somehow or another, they end up hiring people to do their marketing for them. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. What needs to be done, though, is the basics of marketing need to take place, which means your website needs to be on point. Your Google, Facebook, LinkedIn. There's things called pixels that you should have had embedded in your website to be able to track certain things to help to improve your Google ads or help improve your Facebook ads. So this is some of the things that we talk about at the marketing workshop. It's just designed to show you how to optimize all your online digital platforms and how to use ChatGPT to help you do it rather quick. So one way that I'm helping the industries by putting on events like this. I'm also a huge fan of research. I've raised over $700,000 in chiropractic decompression research that's going on right now at the University of South Florida. I like to see myself as someone that is trying to bridge the medical community and the chiropractic community. I know it seems like it's worlds apart, but at the end of the day, we have to be present. We have to be a real option that not only patients, but the medical community take a notice of. And that's why doing chiropractic research in a setting like the University of South Florida Morsani College of Medicine is important. Now you have neurosurgeons there that are looking at a chiropractic technology and saying, hey, maybe there is something there. So I think bridging the gap across the different platforms or medical industries is important, and doing our part and in being involved in research, and also doing our part in helping the doctors get the word out. These are just two of many things that I work on to try to help the chiropractic profession.
Yeah, I love the business talk. I love the fact that you're helping get people to understand that all things are interrelated when it comes to the digital footprint. I think that people have to look at it from a 30,000 foot perspective and realize that the things that they do on Facebook integrate with the things they do on Google, and the things that they do on their website integrate with the things that they do on the search engines. Like, everything has an interconnection. And I do believe that so many people are looking for solutions on how to create a system that is easy for people to do, to where it's not like hiring 3 more people into the office to help with it. So I think it's cool that you create these marketing workshops, and the one that you're going to do down in Tampa. I think it's really cool that people have the access to come down there and to learn and to see where their blind spots might be, and to walk away empowered and come into 25 with a great game plan to go out there and to do better for themselves and to create more digital footprint for themselves. That's all connected. So cool aspect about business building there. And, you said research. I think when I think about chiropractic impact, I really believe that there is a great deal of philosophy. I believe that there's a great deal of art within the profession, but so many times people are looking for the scientific approach. And then they're like, well, how can I make interprofessional relationships? So I do like the idea that you've developed strategies to bridge in to different markets and to get medical people to understand that chiropractic could be a solution to save people from more invasive procedures. And I know the DRX 9000 is helping a lot of people. Let's talk about that a little bit. Why decompression? Why should people consider that for a business model to plug into their practice?
Well, first, I'd like to say what's become challenging is that the word traction has disappeared, and literally every traction device in the market now markets itself as decompression. And there's a lot of marketing behind that, and that muddies the water a little bit, right? So there's a lot of marketing companies that they just use the decompression buzzword, and it doesn't matter what device the doctor has; they're just advertising it. So, when I like to talk about decompression, I like to talk about true, what we've coined true spinal decompression, and what we're doing. And that is being able to create that negative intradiscal pressure. And that's been proven. We pull using what's called the logarithmic curve. And a study has been done where that's been proven to drop intradiscal pressure by more than 200 millimeters of mercury. Actually, it dropped by more than 300. It was measured at negative 200. But to go back to your question on what's important, these are the types of patients that we're treating on the DRX 9000 are patients that often find themselves under the knife. These are surgical candidates. So it's not for a patient that's just, all of a sudden was working in the yard, had a sore back and gone in. So there's a few aspects about uh, the DRX 9000 decompression that bring a lot of value to the doctor. Number one, it's going to be bringing in the types of patients that normally they bypass chiropractic. They go straight for the epidural or they go straight for surgery. Number two, the patients that come in, even if they're not, I know there's, certain attitudes out there about every single patient that comes in the door goes on decompression. The answer is no. They need to be first examined and they need to be qualified. And for a lot of patients that come in your patient, there's adjusting them can help them, right? Not everybody needs to go through decompression. I know that upsets quite a few providers that want that to be the answer to all. But for the patients that have herniations, degeneration, I can tell you the average DRX owner will tell you when they look at a patient's MRI, in the beginning, sometimes they think, maybe not, maybe this is a surgical case. But time and time again has shown that we are able to make a massive difference in these patients' lives. And the reality is, what are their other options, right? I mean, if you have a patient that is looking at if they don't do decompression, what are their other options? In my last mastermind, that's something else that I put on. I do this twice a year. The next one is going to be in Dallas. But I bring in quite a few MDs, DOs, DCs, and they kind of share their stories. And we share, my portion of the presentation is sharing updated research. And it shocked me when I came across a study, a major study, that showed that 62% of patients, for patients that had lumbar fusion with hardware, 62% of them after 2 years were on opioids. That's insane. So, there's a video on YouTube on, what's the risk of spine surgery. And a neurosurgeon says, most common thing that happens is patient goes in expecting ABC, but comes out the same. They had this numbness, they keep it. They have this pain, they keep it. But they underwent the surgery, right? So the alternative is just not there. This is 2024, and yet we still have a massive failure in spine surgeries. And unfortunately, here in America, spine surgery has become a massive industry, And so now you have two groups that are in it, neurosurgeons and orthopedic spine surgeons. Now, I'm not saying that all orthopedic spine surgeons are bad, right? There's a lot of really good ones. But unfortunately, there are far too many that use surgery as the primary treatment method, right? Oh, well, we can do that. We have a small procedure. We can do it out of the office. By the way, for you docs that are referring patients to medical doctors, period, I'm not just talking about spine surgeons. I'm talking about you're sending them out for an orthopedist or anything. Make sure that that doctor is board certified in their profession. And this is something that I think is quite often missed because a lot of times we refer to people we like, right? He's a nice doctor. He's my neighbor. He's a nice doctor. My wife, I took her one time to get a cast put on her wrist. And, the doctor that referred me to this orthopedist genuinely believed that this guy is doing good. And then I get over to this guy and right off the bat wanted to put a plate and screws in. Right off the bat. And I go, he doesn't know anything about me, right? I'm just John Schmo coming in. And I asked him, okay, we came here to put on a cast, not surgery. Are you board certified in hand? He goes, I'm a board certified orthopedic surgeon. I said, I understand that, but did you do another fellowship in hand? Yeah, I do shoulders and wrists. I go, okay, then you did it, and that's okay. I can talk about that story for a while. The bottom line is, my buddy no longer refers to that guy because that guy literally is a butcher. All my wife needed was the bones set in place. And here's another tip: if you have a patient that calls you and says, my child or my wife, or I just broke a wrist, what do I do? Don't just tell them to go to an ER. Tell them to call the ER in advance and ask them, do you have an orthopedic surgeon on hand? Because that's the only one that's going to be able to set it and put them in a cast. I just went on a tangent about a bunch of other stuff, but the bottom line is the medical community has gotten out of hand. Another study that I just shared is that, get this, medical errors. This is a study by Johns Hopkins. Medical errors is the third leading cause of death in America. Third. That's insane. So, we need to promote conservative therapies. We need to promote chiropractic care as the first line of defense for people.
You made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Excite Medical and the DRX 9000, Peach State Payments, Recover, Chiro HD, Softwave, Cool Blue BA, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Script AI, Chiro Moguls, The Chiro Speaking Company, Pure Chiro Notes, 5-Star Forge, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. You can benefit from our full list of sponsors by visiting the sponsor page at chirohustle.com/sponsors. Links in the description. Now, let's hustle. Well, I support what you're saying there. And I don't think that it's too much of a tangent to explain to people that they need to find trusted resources to take care of their family. I think that everybody should have more awareness and more safety in their decision making, and they should have a lot more ability to ask those tough questions. It's not you're telling somebody that they're wrong. You're just trying to make the right decision if this is where you're going to take somebody for what they need and to see if they're qualified for it. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I do a lot of marketing for chiropractic, and people know that. And people sometimes will tell me, hey, I don't trust chiropractors, or I don't believe in chiropractic. And if I went to a chiropractor, I think they might hurt me. Okay. I hear these things and I say, well, here, if you want me to back this up with research, just like you're saying, we got to back some of this stuff up with research. And I always tell people, if you want to go check out malpractice insurance claims, and the amount that a chiropractor has to pay annually to have malpractice, and then you want to go find an orthopedic surgeon or an internist, and you want to see what their policy is. Now we're going to talk about safety. If you want to talk about who's hurting people and where the money line is, we can look at that from a whole different perspective and say, look, chiropractors don't hurt people. Their malpractice insurance is some of the lowest in any medical profession. So when people want to come up with these stories that they want to tell people that they discredit chiropractic for, I believe that chiropractic is least invasive, and you can't undo a surgery. Like you said, once you go and do it, the symptoms don't typically improve, and it definitely doesn't make a better quality of life long term. It actually makes the quality of life worse. And I think that if we think about everything that you mentioned and everything I'm talking about, I would recommend everybody with a hot disc. That's like talking about a bulge or herniation in the low back specifically. I think you have to get everybody a proper diagnosis and a proper exam, and then determine if that person's a candidate for decompression. Sure. And if they are, you're going to save so many more lives and create better quality of lives for those people, because it is least invasive, and it might be a different standard plan of care, but it's definitely not going to cut you and burn you and open you up. It's going to definitely take the pressure off the nerve, allows the body to chill and to repair and to adapt and have a better quality outcome. And I think that that's another part of this whole game. The insurance world, all they care about is outcome analysis. And the reason that outcome analysis matters to a lot of these people in this world is because that's how they can determine how much they can bill for it. And that's the reason that they don't want to have the same type of claims going back to keeping people healthy with chiropractic, because chiropractic actually saves people from long-term conditions.
And
And
that's where the tide is changing.
yes,
A lot of people don't understand how hard it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, just to give you an idea, 20 years ago, when a patient was presented with getting treated on the DRX 9000, they were like, wait a minute, my insurance deductible is super low. I can do this surgery for nothing. So two major things have happened in that. Number one, their deductibles have gone up. It ain't so free anymore for you to get that. And number two, between social media, the internet, the results are out. One question I asked the doctor about wanting to put a plate in my wife's hand is, what happens in 40 years? And he looked at me funny, right? He was like, no, it's titanium. I said, listen, y'all didn't do this 40 years ago. So how do you know what happens in 40 years? They don't. Same thing with all these spine procedures are doing. They don't know what is going to happen in having these foreign metals and foreign objects in their back, 40 years down the line. And so one small thing I've done on my end is I've cut the price. A lot of docs, they looked at the DRX 9000, they thought it was too expensive. So it used to sell for $95,000, $100,000 plus for a lumbar. I brought that down to $55,000. So that has been a significant change. So it's become more affordable. When you're talking about lease payments of about $1,000 a month, it's become more affordable, but your case value is high. The average doc charges $4,000 a case. One new case per month pays the system back. Some people say, well, in my area, we can't do that. That's a mental block, because I can tell you we're in over 1,200 clinics. And at the end of the day, patients, they do not want to have surgery. This is just a fact. But you have to be confident in what you're offering them. One line that I say often is from Zig Ziglar, and that is, you got to be convinced to be convincing. So when you're sitting in front of the patient, you want to be able to confidently tell them, I have the solution for you, and I have the best technology in the world to help you. If this doesn't help you, then maybe surgery is your only option. But I can tell you with confidence that this device, and frankly, the patients just looking at the device, they see the value in it, because they see the size of it. It's designed to provide a very comfortable treatment. But then the doctor also can tell them, we have research. Not only do we have research on this device by doctors from Mayo Clinic, Stanford, but it's currently in use in the Department of Neurosurgery at the University of South Florida, which is big. James, I tell you, when you got a chiropractic technology within the Department of Neurosurgery, it's for a reason. Neurosurgeons are doing cleanup jobs. What do I mean by that? How often does a patient go and have spine surgery, and then they go back to that same surgeon? They're like, I don't know what to do with them. I just read an article the other day by a neurosurgeon that talks about a particular case, and he's like, that patient got discharged from care with their pain still out of control. So basically, the first surgeon just gave up, was like, I can't do anything with this guy. So neurosurgeons in the US are doing so many cleanup jobs. And there's a lot of orthopedic spine surgeons that did their residency or did their fellowships. They did their spine training at better institutions, right? And that's what matters, right? A lot of people don't understand. It does matter where you go to school. Same thing with research. It does matter where it comes from. When somebody's sharing research, you need to make sure, is it IRB, right? But with the amount of failed spine surgeries, neurosurgeons and all the cleanup that they are doing, they are now looking for other answers. They are looking for alternative. And this is why I see the future so bright for this industry because if we continue down the path of educating and sharing and talking, because like you said, what is the malpractice insurance, right? Nobody has ever died on a DRX 9000. Nobody. Nobody's ever died. The other day, this is a funny story. The other day, I'm watching, I don't know if you do this, but when I watch things on TV, I Google about the cast to kind of see where they're at now. So I'm sitting with my kids and we're watching Willow. Do you remember Willow?
Mm-hmm.
So we're watching Willow and I'm seeing these little man Willow going around and I'm like, man, this is 1988 and the same guy that put this on is the same guy that put on Star Wars, right? It's a George Lucas production, which I think is pretty amazing that it's still entertaining from 1988. So I look up Willow. I look up the actual star and I'm like, what is his life now? Right? You little person. I'm curious. So I see that he got married and he had 3 kids. I'm like, wow, that is wonderful. So then I read about his wife. She died at the age of 53. You would not believe what she died from, James. She went in to have spine surgery and developed sepsis and died. Like here I am enjoying a movie and then I go to the darkest part of my industry. We know that death is not a high rate. I get that. I get that. I think somebody said the other day 1 in 2,500. But let me tell you something. I don't want to be that one, right? I want to see my kids grow. But the reality is, far more often than death, you have other things. But let me ask you this. When's the last time somebody died, not just from DRX 9000, but from all the chiropractic profession? Doesn't happen. Worst case scenario when you see a chiropractor is you don't get better. That's the reality. Now, misdiagnosis things, that's a whole different ballgame. But if a doctor's doing what he's doing and he's doing it correctly, there is no chance. Unfortunately, with spine surgery, there are too many actors involved, right? One of the things about healthcare in general is what can go wrong? Well, you have human error, right? But besides human error, what about the products that go into the spine surgery? So you have, whether it's the screws that are being made or the tools that are being used, there are so many factors that if everybody is not firing, it's like literally like sending a shuttle into space. If everything is not right, something major is going to go wrong. And that's why we have to help patients understand, let us try. And if you're a decompression provider and that patient still hasn't gotten better and you're not using a DRX 9000, send them to a DRX 9000 provider. Don't give up on them just yet.
I love so much what you're saying. I'm going to quote Les Brown. He said that he loves chiropractic because it doesn't cut it out, drug it out, or burn it out. And I love that quote because it lines up exactly with what you're saying. I think that everybody should try the least invasive approach, which is why I love chiropractic, because it does save people's lives from drugs and surgery. I go out and I talk to people all the time. And I say, look, if I don't tell you the truth today about chiropractic, somebody else will close you for drugs or surgery eventually. And if you don't come try out what we do, it's just a matter of time until that's your only path. So I meet people where they are. I ask them what's going on. I ask them what they've done that's helped so far. And then I build a case on how I can either schedule them in or refer them to someone else. And most of the time, I'd say 9.5 out of 10 times, I tell people we can help them. And I say, just come in for the exam. Let us check you out. Let us create the report of findings. Let us give you a recommendation of care. And if seems like a good fit for you, move forward with care. If you come in for these first 2 visits, you realize that it's not the right place, it's not the right thing for you, there's no strings attached for you for further care. But I guarantee you one thing, you're going to like us. So I build the empathy into them, letting them know that number one thing I think everybody's looking for, Saleem, is they want somebody to tell them the truth, just like you did with your wife. And they want somebody that has the confidence to tell them that they can help them and mean it. And that's why we get these people to convert to these plans. And doesn't matter if it's 10,000, 20,000, 5,000, 1,000, 2,000, doesn't matter the price point attached to it. If that person believes that you're the solution for their problem and they don't have to go get cut open, they're going to do it.
Yeah, a couple of things on that. One, something that I came up with about the chiropractic profession, because I have I'm in so many worlds that I'm involved in, and most people that I deal with don't know what a chiropractor does. And when you try to explain the concept, one way that I explain it is, if every time you face a battle, you submit and give up, you can never win the war. You have to fight every battle in order to win the war. So when the first line of defense is get on an antibiotic, get on this, get on this, get on this, and you're not allowing the body to fight for itself over and over and over again, when the shit hits the fan, let's face it, your body is already not used to fighting. So now you're needing chemicals, now you're needing machines to keep you alive. But during your lifetime, if you're regularly getting adjusted, if you're regularly having proper nutrition and exercise, and you're understanding the chiropractic mindset of having the patient's body fight for itself, then yes, fight every battle so that you can win the war. And then the other portion of what you said, as far as the money part, if you don't think, there is patient financing, by the way. Almost every part of this country has a Home Depot. And I say this often, or a Rooms to Go, or a furniture outlet. People go in and they buy things they absolutely do not need. That's just a fact. They go in, I'm going to get a new couch. I'm going to get a new appliance. Pretty soon, 100-inch TVs coming out. And you know what? There's tons of people that are buying it, right? So the reality is, if you, the doctor, have to believe in the value of what you're doing. And if you do, you have no problem in being able to offer the care and get what you're worth. And that's another thing. I think that chiropractors are undervalued. I think they should be paid quite a bit more. And that's kind of another motivating factor behind what I do. If I can help a doctor get an extra $5,000 or $10,000 a month, that's a significant impact. I've done this quietly. We've never sold anything based on money or revenue. Just that's not my style. That's I would end up with all kinds of drowning people just trying to, doing it for the money. But one big satisfaction for me is how I see people's lives change after they incorporate the DRX 9000 in, because everybody wins. The patient's getting the best delivery in the world and they're happy about it. The doctor is able to help patients that they thought that they couldn't possibly help, right? And now their families are benefiting, right? The organizations they're involved in, whether it's a church or a civic group or whatever, it's a win-win situation all around.
I think it's full circle. I really believe that when you help a chiropractor become more successful, they have the self-confidence to give back. When they have the self-confidence to give back, that means that they're prosperous. That means that they're tithing to their colleges that they finished from. That means that they're supporting their state organizations. That means that they're contributing to the international organizations. That means that they have the confidence to actually be a successful practice. And that's a lot. That's a lot in the psychology of this profession.
One of the best lines I've ever heard was from the president of the University of South Florida, Judy Genshaft, which catapulted the university to what it is today. If you don't know, you should know. University of South Florida is now a tier 1 university. It's in the top 100 in the US. Last year, got inducted into the Association of American Universities, AAU. It's a preeminent research institution, which means that it's only one of 3 universities in the state of Florida getting big bucks from the state on research. So Judy Genshaft I remember her. I did my undergrad at USF, and I remember when she came in and she shook things up. And God bless her. She's a living legend. Um, but she said something to me that I think everybody should hear. She said, first you learn, then you earn, and then you return. And absolutely love that.
Yeah, I think that those are some words to live by. And I really believe that the people that go and invest in a chiropractic education, a lot of them are on the fence what they add into their practice or anything. And I know that you do help them with financing if they're curious about getting a DRX 9000. You help them with training. And like you said earlier in the interview, you do master classes where you bring people in and you teach them how to create the business models to make them successful.
Yeah, well, I can tell you our feet never stop moving. We're constantly moving. We're constantly wanting to stay relevant. Fun fact, I got over 1 million fans on Facebook for the DRX 9000 page. I don't know of any other medical device technology in the world that has that kind of a following. On our YouTube channel, our videos have been viewed millions of times, and I literally create content for patients, believe it or not, because I want the patient to walk in the doctor's office and say, do you have a DRX 9000, right? So, there's a 3D animation video that is phenomenal, and I did it in English, Spanish, and Arabic that educates the patient about their body, their disc, and so forth, and then how the DRX helps. But yes, I pride myself on trying everything within my power to help people succeed. And I do that even if they don't buy our product. The marketing workshop is a prime example. I got non-DRX 9000 owners that come all the time. I really just want to see this profession get heard. Get heard. People need to know.
Well, that's a big reason why we do what we do. And I'm really thankful for you being on with us today and sharing everything with us. Marketing workshops going on in Tampa, December 13th. You'll talk about marketing, and I think that's really cool that people can learn.
They can go to marketing decompression, marketingdecompression.com, and that'll take them there.
So go to marketingdecompression.com, meet with Saleem and his team. And I just thank you so much for talking to me with so much passion today. I think the world needs to understand that there are better ways to get people better faster. And this is one of them. And I think that there's a huge component to what you're doing to help chiropractors have certainty in rehabbing people and getting people back to a quality of life that we should all want, not just the people that are in the worst shape.
And I appreciate it. And, something that I always make sure that anytime I'm being heard is people know, I am Palestinian, I am Christian, and there's always two sides to everything. But I pray for all sides. I pray for the innocent on all sides. Needless suffering should not happen. But I do always want to say, please pray for all the innocent people in Gaza, Lebanon, on the Israeli side, on the Palestinian side. We are all children of God. We are all humans. And we just never can forget that.
My mentor would always tell me, Saleem, we're all more alike than we are different.
Without a doubt. Yes.
And with that being said, go check out Saleem, the Excite Medical, and the DRX 9000. Thank you for sponsoring Chiro Hustle and being episode 685.
Appreciate all your time. Thanks, James.
Yes. And I close out like I always do. I tell you, you're just one story away. Keep hustling. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.